Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in English 101. We are halfway there, yay! 2 essays done, 2 more to go. So let's talk a little bit about our next unit, which is going to focus on the skills of comparison and contrast. So essay 3 is going to be a compare and contrast assignment. You'll be reading that chapter in the textbook as well as some sample essays and discussing those before you actually jump into writing your essay. So, oh, that was my horse. So the first thing you'll need to do, click on Unit 3 in Blackboard and it will bring up the specifics of our assignments. And so we'll take a quick look at Essay 3 assignment. You'd click there, but I've also got it pulled up here. So for Essay 3, you're going to choose a topic to compare and contrast, something, again, that you are familiar with. You may need to do a little background research, but I don't want this to be a ton of research. It's not a research essay. So the thing about picking a topic is you want to make sure you narrow in on a specific area of that topic. And so I've given an example here in the assignment. I could compare and contrast trucks. So say I wanted to compare and contrast a Toyota Tundra versus a Ford Raptor. That's really broad. There's a lot of different ways I could go with that. And this is only going to be a 3 to 4 page essay. And I want to make sure that I develop my ideas well and not kind of just rush through all these different ideas. So what we want to make sure we do after we pick a topic is to focus in exactly what we're going to be comparing on that topic. And so I've given a few examples. Obviously, we use trucks for a lot of different reasons here. We use trucks for ranch work. People use trucks for off-road racing. Some people just have it as kind of their family vehicle for camping and things like that. And so if I was going to write my compare-contrast essay on Toyota Tundra versus Ford Raptor, I want to make sure I focus my comparison on a specific area. So I could use any of these as the focus of my essay, but it's going to be important that you do really kind of narrow in on the specific comparison that you're making on your topic. The chapter on comparison and contrast has lots of good ideas for you. One thing I specifically want to point out is how you organize a compare-contrast essay. And the textbook talks about this on pages 342 to 343. And we can either compare and contrast point by point or subject by subject. So essentially I could do the whole first page and a half on Toyota Tundra and the pages 2 and 3 on the Ford Raptor. And so that would be really chunking it subject by subject. Or I could take it point by point. And so say I'm doing Toyota Tundra versus Ford Raptor for ranch work, and I want to first compare towing capacity. And so I'd compare the towing capacity of each of those. And then I might want to compare, how many people it holds for getting around, workers around the ranch. And so then the second point might be, capacity for passengers. And then the third point might be suspension and trailering heavy loads. Okay, so that would be a point by point as compared to a subject by subject. And the book talks about that, pages 342 to 343. So make sure you take a look at that. Again, we'll want a clear thesis statement, kind of the overall picture that comes at the end of your intro. And I've got a rubric down here at the bottom. So make sure you're reviewing this Essay 3 assignment, the criteria and the rubric as you're working on it. For this week, our first focus, I'll go back to the class here, is completing the reading of the sample essays in Back to the Lake and completing the discussion board, very similar to what we did for Unit 2, where you chose 3 essays to focus on and answer the questions there. Make sure when you're responding to your classmates that you are building on the ideas, offering another perspective, posing a question, or commenting how you'll use that strategy in your own essay. The whole "I agree with you" doesn't quite cut it for a response. We want to actually discuss. That's what a discussion board is for. So make sure you're discussing in your post there. And then we have our spot for our rough draft and obviously our final draft to upload here. So I look forward to reading your essays, your example essays you just turned in. I'll have those graded by middle of the week for you. And remember that these skills we've been using in Essay 1, the narrative, and Essay 2, the example essays, will continue to build on those. So you may find that you're using narrative and example and compare and contrast essays. So if you have any questions this week, reach out. I am here to help, and I look forward to seeing you on the discussion board.